All right, folks, I feel like I need to do a bit of a disclaimer here at the beginning. So, I am just a little bitty, teeny tiny person with a small little channel on YouTube, and I ended up on YouTube because of the Idaho 4 case, which, ironically enough, I haven't really made any videos on yet, or podcasts rather. So, that's what I've been investigating for the last almost 2 years, and there will be lots to come on that. But since there was such a lull in the case when the Reed trial started, I got into it and I watched it, and then I started doing my own research into that. And because let me just also say at the beginning of the trial, day one, I went into it thinking she likely was being framed. I was leaning that way, but mind you, I hadn't really dug into all the facts and evidence and watched a lot of the pre-trial things and all of that, digging into the court documents and doing my own research on people such as Turtle Boy and Alan Jackson and David Unetti, and finding out about innocence fraud campaigns. This is how I really started to learn what these are, okay? And this is the first one that I'm aware of to date that has happened in real time, meaning that it's happening as the trial is going to trial. Most of them happen post-conviction, such as trying to think of cases that I would know that you would know. I think it's the Tennessee 3, the one that just got out recently, Ali Ashabal. I cannot pronounce his name, and I can't even see it in my head. I don't know a whole lot about the case, but he was recently released. And Amanda Knox, that's probably the most known one for people of my generation. Okay, so there's a lot, and if you're interested in learning this, I would highly recommend checking out Roberta Glass, spelled just how it sounds, Roberta and Glass, Glass. And she has devoted her whole channel to this, so she can. Oh, and The Making a Murderer, that was on Netflix. That's probably known by most of you out there. Okay, that was a whole fraud. And the editing and the things that they do to make things look like, that this was a setup or incompetence or whatever, that they do it. And they employ a lot of tactics, and they employ a lot of big money, and they employ people like Turtle Boy. I have to say, I really don't know if there's a worse person to put your money behind. And if you watch his live streams and you condone his behavior and you think that it's okay to treat people in such a manner, then you are not going to want to listen to the rest of this, because you clearly don't want the truth, and you clearly do not have morals or ethics in the way that my morals and ethics are not aligned with your morals and ethics, and therefore you will just not agree with me. So ultimately, I just want to say that there are a lot of grifters out there, and I will be naming people that I know are grifters, not in this stream. I just started watching Lana's. I haven't watched the whole thing, but I just wanted to see what her position was. So I watched a little bit before I started this, just so that I knew, and I was like, okay, I gotta do a reaction to this too. So this is going to be a longer reaction because her video is longer. I don't know how much she talks after the actual interview, so we'll see what happens. But, and I'm a talker, so hopefully I can try to get my point across quicker. But I just basically talk to you like you're sitting here with me and I'm having a conversation with you. So that's just how I roll, and I am unapologetically me. So along with my disclaimer, these are my opinions. I have done my research. I encourage you to do your own research. I'm doing reaction videos for now because I'm using my phone. I don't have any high-tech equipment. I don't know how to really do any of this. I just figured out how to screen record, so bear with me, folks. And I don't plan on making, like, this isn't a financial thing. This is me ultimately getting really dug in on the Idaho 4 case, and in the meantime happened to figure out what was going on in this Karen Reed case. And I just want to help people draw attention to it, because I know that there are people out there that truly believe that she is innocent. I also know that there are a lot of people that are using a lot of triple, quadruple, 16 different accounts to basically just spam and make people think that there's 100,000 supporters. I know a lot of the people that were involved are getting paid. I mean, Turtle Boy has admitted as much on his station. He actually did a program in the beginning when he first got this. I mean, the stuff is recorded, guys. Like, he tells his audience that it's bullshit. He told Karen Reed and Jackson and Yannetti that he was like, you want me to do what? Like, this sounds ridiculous. But they are high-priced lawyers, and they get it out there in such a way. And the thing about doing it pre-trial is you don't know the facts, okay? So what you're getting is the spin version of it. And that's why when I say I went into it thinking she was innocent, but by the time I laid my head down at night, basically right before I laid my head down at night, and I did my first recording on this channel, so check it out if you haven't heard that one yet, because it just all made sense to me where I was unraveling it and was like, oh my gosh, like, this is a huge fraud. Like, everything that's in the public sphere is bullshit. And then I really dug in to figure out what and how and why and that and all of that. And it is corruption, folks, but it's corruption on the side of Jackson, Yannetti, Reed, Turtle Boy, Olivia, Reed's family, anybody and everybody that knows Reed personally and is close to her, and all of her family, they know she's guilty. Okay? Like, and I'm not, I don't remember if I said this already, but I'm not going to show receipts. I'm not going to say things that aren't true, and that I haven't done my own research on, and when it's my opinion, just take everything as my opinion, okay, and do your own research. So this is all my opinion, all my speculation, wink, wink. Go do your own research, for real, though. You should never trust anything that comes out of anybody's mouth. Trust but verify. That's a good thing to live by, okay? And if it sounds fishy, dig. But keep in mind that if you're watching creators that are constantly finding conspiracies and frame jobs and everything that they cover is innocent people, you might want to think about that. Not to say that there aren't innocent people in prison. I know that they are. And I happen to believe that Brian Kohlberger is one. But, well, he's in jail right now. But they want to put this man to death. And I think he's innocent, and I think that there is huge corruption, and I think it's really blatantly obvious. However, I still reserve the right to change my mind, just like I did when Karen Reed trial started. Like, all I know is the little tiny bits that they've fed us, and honestly, I think the PCA is total and utter bullshit. Bill Thompson said as much in one of his last filings. The PCA is irrelevant. Okay, so we have no facts, really, other than the fact that we know that this is bullshit for so many reasons, but I won't go off on that tangent. But suffice it to say, there's a lot of grifting going on. And if you're spending your hard-earned money and your time and your energy and you're flying to places and putting your backing behind this woman because you think she's some kind of hero and you think Turtle Boy and that crowd is some sort of hero, you really, really might want to just take a beat and take a break for a little bit and, like, you know, go out in nature or wherever you find your zen and just try to use a little common sense with this stuff, because this case is really simple. Okay, she is a narcissistic psychopath in my non-expert opinion, but lots of life experience. Clearly a narcissistic psychopath, and I mean that in the clinical way. Like, she is a psychopath. She gets pleasure from watching other people go through pain. Okay, if I was in Karen Reed's situation and I was wrongly accused, I would be mortified. I would be horrified. I would be crying. I would be talking to his family and all of the people that welcomed me with open arms. And there would be no smiling for me when other people like Proctor, which I'm going to do another video on later, I think he's being vilified for words. Words. We're talking about murder. I'm not going to give my whole opinion on Proctor's situation, but let me just say I think it's disgusting that he's being vilified in this way. This man had a clean record. He was on his personal cell phone. He was venting, which is a mental health necessity, in the middle of a case that was making him frustrated and angry because a police officer lost his life. It was very cut and dry, guys. They were out drinking. People that did know them knew their relationship was toxic. Okay? People that were behind the scenes. They hid it well. Okay? They were fighting before the bar. She was not invited to the bar. He did not expect to see her there. It was a guy's night out. John O'Keefe, I don't know the family. I don't know any of these people, but this is, again, what I'm putting together and what I see, and that what I have found is facts backing this up. That John O'Keefe was a total salt of the earth kind of man. He was not going to make a scene. So he put on a show, and then they got in the car and started fighting again. And from what we know, she's a jealous person that cannot handle anybody that he may be in contact with, that he may have had any kind of intimate relationship in the past. She can't handle it. She gets jealous. Even if they haven't had a past relationship, she makes it up in her head. Okay? That is clinically not healthy. Okay? So they got in this fight. He got out. And nobody knows exactly how the accident happened, folks. Okay? The ARCA guys were bullshit. They were paid by the FBI. They were not paid by the FBI for their report. But Jackson and his team paid them to come and testify and for all of their expenses, just like any other expert would be paid. So, trust in that. A lot of shit's going to come out. And I, for one, am not going to stand by and keep my mouth shut. So, if people want to come at me, come at me. I will not respond to vitriol. If you think that I'm stupid, or if you just have hateful things to say about me or the family or any of the victims, just click off of this. You do not have to watch this. You have billions of choices out there, okay? You do not need to spit vitriol at me, and you can disagree with me. That's fine. I welcome criticism as long as it's constructive. I welcome differing opinions, but I'm not going to have the same conversation 30,000 times. It's just a waste of time, okay? So if I get the same question over and over and over again, then, I will probably do a little video on it or something. But anyway, I'm getting off topic here. The point of these reaction videos that I'm finding creators making, and I'm hoping that, because there's a few more that I'm going to do. Some of them I'm going to do that are good or that I agree with. But what I've come across so far, a lot of them are very negative. And my message to all Americans out there is, yes, we have the freedom of speech. And yes, you can use it in whatever way you would like. But my request, my hope, my message is that, again, take a beat before you respond. There's a difference between reacting and responding. Okay, if you hear something that you don't agree with and you just bite, that's reacting. You don't think, you don't process, you're acting on pure emotion. And that's not healthy. And you're going to get yourself in trouble in life if you act that way. What we all need to do, and we're all guilty of that from time to time. I am a very passionate person. I absolutely have moments of reaction. But I have learned that it is, if I have that need to just snap, real quick back, that is my red flag to know I better take a beat and wait a day. Okay? And if I really still feel the need to do it the next day, go ahead and do it. Then that's something that I really feel like I need to say. It's probably going to come across a lot more constructively a day later, but 90% of the time at least, I don't even feel the need anymore. I just think they're not worth my time if they want to live in that anger in that gross way. Okay? So my message is, go ahead and grift. Do what I'm not a fan of grifting, and that'll be a whole nother topic. But if you're gonna grift, shame on you. But that's not the message today. Do your shit, do whatever you want. I'm not saying that Lana's grifting. I'm not saying any creators grifting yet. I do know of a few for sure that are. And I will be exposing people, not like they really give a shit, though, because it's really common knowledge. There's two sides to this, guys. And when is the last time you've ever had something this toxic in a court case? There's a reason for that, okay? Like, there are a lot of us that are really passionate about the Brian Koberger case, but most of the time, with healthy-minded people, we can have passionate yet respectful conversations with each other. This case, you can't. It's if I'm talking to somebody that absolutely will not hear my points, will not answer a question with an actual response rather than another question, and if they ask me a question, I will answer it. But if I ask them a question, they just shoot me back with 15 other questions that have nothing to do with my question, which are their talking points. Everything that they've said has been disproven to this point. The feds are not coming in. The feds already came and left. The worst thing they found were Proctor's personal cell phone messages, which is the only reason that Jackson was able to introduce those into court, because that was part of that investigation. And that was all they found. That was it, folks. That was the worst of the worst. Okay? Now wait for it. There will be, hopefully, charges and ethics violations coming down on the side of the defense, including attorneys. There's politics involved. There are dirty politicians. The FBI, I don't think, was dirty. I don't have any reason to think that. I think that they legitimately thought that they got called in by Josh Levy, and that's where the corruption was, with Rachel Rollins and Josh Levy, and there are text messages to prove all of this that are out there for y'all to find. Okay, so people better get fucking consequences. All right, point of this is, for this right now, is that whatever you're going to do about the actual court case, fine. If you don't think Lally proved it, fine. If you want to argue points about the case, fine. But this shit right here, where we have creators coming on and telling people in the world that they know better than Paul O'Keefe's family knows. You don't think Paul O'Keefe's brother, and I said this on my last post, but I'm going to say it again. You don't think Paul O'Keefe's brother and mother and father did their fucking due diligence? You don't think Carrie Roberts, who'd been I think Carrie Roberts went to prom with John. I'm not 100% sure. I haven't been able to actually fact check that, but I have heard that from several people. But I believe they were friends since high school. Okay, you think that these people are not going to do their due diligence? Again, this is where common sense comes in. Think about yourself in their shoes. If your brother, sister, one of your best friends died in this really strange way, okay, would you not do your due diligence to make sure that you knew in your gut, heart, and head that the right person was being prosecuted? Lally is not a dirty person. Do your research into Lally. That man, you can think of him whatever you want, but that man has more integrity in his little pinky than the entire defense team has in their entire bodies together, including everybody involved in this whole conspiracy cover-up innocence fraud campaign. Okay? Go do your research on Lally. See if you can find anybody that has anything to say about his ethics in any sort of negative way. Proctor's record was clean before this, and he sent some text because he was pissed. And everybody wants to make him out to be some kind of villain. Shame on you, governor. Shame on you, police. You want to talk about, you think there's a conspiracy to back the blue? They threw Proctor under the bus. And in my view, Proctor's a hero because he did not get up on the stand and pled the fifth. He got up there a humbled man. He got up there and took responsibility for his actions. He got up there and owned it and did not make excuses and did not get defensive. He was clearly sad, and he wasn't going to risk taking the fifth and losing justice for John. He would rather throw his entire fucking life and career and profession and everything that he'd worked for in his life out the window because he wanted to get justice for John. He could have got up there and taken the fifth, and potentially, you know, it would have done some damage control for himself personally. It still wouldn't have looked good for the case, but it would have saved him all of this mortifying, horrifying bullshit. Go take a read at Karen Reed's text messages and tell me if she's misogynistic. Put your big girl panties on. Put your big boy panties on. If we want to be liberal women and we want to be treated like equals, then fucking get over yourselves. Okay? We're talking about murder. And we're talking about somebody calling somebody a cunt or a bitch. Are we in middle school? He was pissed. He was frustrated. And he was overworked. And he hadn't slept in 16 hours. And he hadn't been home to see his wife and his kids. Young children. And he knew his wife was stressing out. Like, maybe not stressing out. I don't know that. But he knew that he was putting all of the work on her in their home life. And you could see that he felt guilty about that, which is why he said, go ahead and get my wife something. That wasn't a bribe, people. Come the fuck on. The worst they found was that message and misogynistic messages, and we're gonna vilify him. Shame on all of you. So my point is, Paul O'Keefe knows what the fuck happened. And if you think that you know better than Paul O'Keefe knows what happened to his brother, then you might want to check yourself. Because honestly, that is the most asinine thing I've ever heard in my life. Again, if your brother or sister was killed and you had 2 years to do your own research, and yes, he made up his mind quickly, just like the police. And you want to know why? Because they got to the crime scene. John O'Keefe was in the yard. Karen told 15 people that she hit him, or I hit him, or did I hit him, or whatever fucking bow you want to put on that. Okay? If I dropped my husband off at a friend's house the night before, and I said, and then I went home, and he didn't come home, I would expect that he probably got drunk and passed out. And if I went over there and found him in somebody's yard, I would have went into that house screaming, what the fuck happened? Who did this? What's going on? I wouldn't have said, I hit him. Did I hit him? Did I do this? Did I kill him? No. The shit you can spin it however you want. Use common sense. And stop making victims out of people who have already been victimized by Karen Reed, the defense team, and quite frankly, society. Shame on all of you. It's disgusting. So let's get into this. I've talked too much already. Let's see what we have to say here.
Okay, so how are you doing? How's your family doing?
I mean, we're doing all right, hanging in there.
Oh, and Lana has a smoke detector in her house that just beeps, so that you're not hearing shit. I can't believe you haven't gone crazy yet, Lana, if you hear this, because, like, you should just, like, take me on a video tour of your house, and I'll help you find where it's coming from. I cannot believe you haven't, like, lost your mind yet. It's been going on for a long time, folks. But anyway, I just want to let you know that you're not hearing shit. It's a smoke detector in Lana's house.
It's been long,
Again, I do have this speed. It's sped up just 1.25 instead of 1.
painful 2.5 years. And I mean, with the mistrial that happened the other day, obviously it wasn't ideal, but if we have to do it again, we'll do it again. So we're ready to go.
Did you, prior to jury deliberations, ever think a mistrial was even possible?
I kept everything was on the table, I guess, but obviously hoping and confident that we were going to get the conviction that we were looking for. So as far as the mistrial,